Yo, what is going on, guys? Flashverse here, and welcome back to another video on The Flash. Now, as of the time I'm recording this video, we are 4 episodes into The Flash Season 7. So, yeah, we are 7 seasons into The Flash, which is just crazy, and obviously there will be more seasons to come. But as these new seasons come along, we obviously have the season premieres, some of which have been quite bad, but others have been a blast and they've just been awesome. So for today's video, I will be ranking all 7 season premieres for The Flash from worst to best. Now for season 7's ranking, I will be using season 7 episode 1 titled All's Well That Ends Well, even though that is pretty much season 6 episode 20 and not an actual season premiere, because we are still dealing with graphic novel number 2 with the Mirror Master storyline. And season 7 episode 4 titled Central City Strong is technically supposed to be the season premiere for The Flash season 7, but although episode 4 of season 7 is where the original season 7 storyline was supposed to start, it was filmed as an episode 4 and not technically as a season premiere, because season 7 episode 1 was filmed like a season premiere, even though it was still technically meant to be season 6 episode 20. So when they started production after the shutdown, they technically adjusted what they had planned for season 6 episode 20, and they made it look like a season premiere, since this episode was supposed to be which kickstarts The Flash season 7. So for that purpose, I'm taking season 7 episode 1 titled All's Well That Ends Well as a season premiere instead of The Flash season 7 episode 4 titled Central City Strong. Also, before I get into the ranking, remember guys, this is just my opinion, so we will definitely disagree in regards to these rankings and the certain places which I put a certain episode. Judging from the people I compared it with, you guys are going to heavily disagree with my rankings, but that's the fun of it. This is just my opinion, and I'm very interested to see your opinions towards all of this as well. So be sure to tell me your opinions in the comment section down below. But if you guys are enjoying the content, be sure to drop a like on the video and subscribe to the channel so you are aware of more Arrowverse content coming your way. Okay, so kicking off this ranking with number 7 spot.
Central City believes in the Flash. So do I.
Now, this episode was pretty bad in my opinion. Atom Smasher was a terrible villain. His powers were terrible as well. Now, I'm not going to criticize the CGI because there's nothing they could really do about it. It's a low budget show, so I'm not going to go too harsh on that. Now, the explanation to Ronnie's death made no sense at all. It was something that just happened out of nowhere. The action scenes weren't too great either. Now, the way we saw Barry go solo for a bit was actually pretty interesting, but it didn't take long for Team Flash to get back together, which I wish we saw more of Barry going solo. Also, not to forget, Barry ends up killing Atom Smasher, which is something which shouldn't have happened at all, no matter what. It just isn't something the Flash would do, so I really didn't like that they did that. But the ending scene with Jay Garrick was pretty cool to see, and that was something very interesting to see when first watching it. And at first watch, I was really looking forward to where they would go with this. Now, although they didn't mention it during the episode, bringing in the concept of the multiverse was something really cool. But overall, I will give this episode a 6 out of 10.
What should we call this brave new world that you've whipped up for us? I was thinking Flashpoint.
Now, originally, I was really looking forward for the season 3 premiere due to that insane cliffhanger which we had during the end of season 2 with Barry going back in time and saving his mother and bringing in the concept of Flashpoint, one of the best storylines that the Flash has in the comics. How freaking cool would it be to see like a Flashpoint adaptation going onto this show? That would have just been insane. But then this episode came along. This episode had so much potential to be good, but it disappointed in so many levels. Flashpoint should have been a lot longer than just one episode. It definitely shouldn't have been a one-off thing. It should have been dragged out for at least like 6 episodes or something like that. The rival wasn't that great of a villain either, but Kid Flash was very interesting. I really enjoyed the idea in bringing in a new speedster for this Flashpoint timeline. But also the character interactions with Barry and Thawne itself was something that was great. It's always been great, it's never disappointed once. And this episode is no different. Despite it being a decent episode, Barry and Thawne, whenever they have a scene together, it will never disappoint no matter which episode it is. And seeing an alternate timeline versions of our characters was very cool to see. Now, one thing they didn't explain is how do metas exist, because technically the particle accelerator wouldn't have exploded in this alternate timeline, so they didn't really explain how metas existed. But although this episode did have some great moments, it was more of a wasted potential than anything else. But overall, I will give this episode a 6.5 out of 10. Now, unlike the other two episodes which I just mentioned, this episode was not bad at all. In fact, it's a massive step up to the previous two which I just mentioned. It's just I like the other season premieres a lot more, but this episode perfectly shows the Flash's origin story in such a great way. It was so great to see. Not only was seeing Barry do all this forensic work so cool, but like the flashy scenes which we got and Barry getting used to his powers and him discovering these new abilities, it was something really cool, and it was something I really enjoyed. Oliver's cameo and him inspiring Barry to become the Flash while becoming the guardian angel of the city and basically inspiring people and saving them in a flash, it was something that was really great. Now, the Run Barry Run scene was so chilling, and once again, it was such a great scene. The mystery with Harrison Wells towards the end was very interesting as well. But overall, this is such a massive step up to the previous two which I mentioned, and it's just such a great episode. It's a perfect pilot episode, but as a season premiere, I just like the other season premieres a lot more than I like this one. I just don't know why. I know a lot of people like this the most, but I don't know, I'm just not connected to it in regards to having it as the best season premiere. But overall, I will give this episode a 9 out of 10.
I don't have a suit.
Actually, I have a backup.
Now, despite The Flash Season 5 being the worst season of The Flash, you guys would know I really don't like this season. You guys would have heard me say this multiple times in previous videos. But although Season 5 was a really bad season overall, it did have quite a lot of good episodes, and this episode was certainly one of them. I really enjoyed the Season 5 premiere in so many levels. Seeing our three speedsters, Wally, Barry and Nora, just working together was something really cool, and it was something I really liked. The scene where they phased the plane, for example, so epic. It was just so great. Now, Nora was a pretty interesting character too, and we had some interesting future references here and there, and the mystery with why Nora was so close to Barry yet so repelled from Iris was something very interesting. We also got the reveal that Barry was missing for more than 25 years. However, my complaint for this episode was that Nora was really annoying and childish. The Legends of Tomorrow reference in regards to why Nora wouldn't be disrupting the timeline if she is in the past makes no sense at all. And the new Flash costume, do I even have to talk about that? That suit was just god awful. However, it's just the costume. It's not like it affects the quality of the episode overall. So overall for this episode, I will give a 9.5 out of 10.
People I love.
Where's Barry?
Suit's finished.
Your emblem.
Now, this episode was great in so many levels. We kicked off with this slight timeline change, and we had the two couples, Barry and Iris, dealing with Nora's demise. We also had this short but really cool Flash versus Godspeed fight scene. Now, we also had the Crisis on Infinite Earth setup ending, where obviously the Monitor tells Barry that he has to die to save everyone, and that was really exciting. And the visuals for this episode was actually pretty good as well, especially for daylight scenes. Barry going into the black hole was just epic. The new suit is just gorgeous. So overall for this episode, I will give a 9.7 out of 10.
You only have 1% of your speed left. Let's make it count.
Now realistically, season 7 episode 1 and what I put on first place are technically tied. I love these two episodes equally. The fact that they took a season 6 episode 20 and made it look like a season premiere with some great flashy action sequences was something I loved, and it really worked. We got a taster of new Team Flash, which worked as well. I really liked how there weren't too many people in Star Labs. It was very condensed. We had a lot of comedic moments during this episode, such as Barry becoming Oldie Wells, for example. I really enjoyed that. The setup to Team Flash building the new artificial speed force, leading to the climax of Nash accepting his death to save Barry's speed, was perfectly done. Nash's death scene was incredibly unexpected as well. The way Barry tapped into the artificial speed force was just such a chilling moment. Because we haven't seen Barry run full speed for a while prior to this episode, made the Flash action scene so worth it. It was just visually great as always. The lightning trail with this suit just looks so good. So overall for this episode, I will give a 9.8 out of 10.
It's him! Now, Cisco!
Now this episode was incredibly good. I really enjoyed this episode. There were a couple of bad things going on in this episode, such as Iris being really annoying during this episode. And her being team leader as well, that made no sense at all. So that was my only other issue with this episode. The way they brought Barry back was something very interesting, and him having that memory loss was pretty cool to see. And him having these references such as Nora shouldn't be here, for example, and the Your Honor, I'm innocent. Those were really interesting teases which they added, which basically foreshadow what will happen next. So that was something I really liked as well. Seeing Kid Flash and Cisco team up was something I really liked, and I loved the bit where Wally wore the Flash suit. I know it was for a short period of time, but it was just great seeing that. This episode was an incredibly great structured episode. Like how everything leads to that climax was really great. The way Barry awakens and destroys the pipeline cell was such a chilling moment. Not to forget, the season 4 costume was great as well. The visual effects for this episode was great. Seeing how fast Barry has become once he left the Speed Force was so cool. And the Thinker's reveal was very nice as well. Now, I know a lot of people don't like this episode, but I don't know, I just love this episode. So overall for this episode, once again, I will give a 9.8 out of 10. But yeah guys, thanks for watching. If you guys have enjoyed the video, please give a like and subscribe. As I said guys, this is just my opinion, and I'm very interested to see all of your opinions towards all of the premieres. So be sure to share me your rankings in the comment section down below. I'm very interested to see all of them. And yeah, I will see you guys in my next video.